One fact tuning into today's video, I've just been thinking a little bit about January today because we've had an update from a Korean model and it's quite interesting what it's showing for January, and it is in line with what we're beginning to see from the CFS model as well. So we'll have a look at those two in a moment, then we'll have a look at the nearer time frame. It looks like we're going to be having a lot of cloud this week, very dreary, disappointing weather, although it will brighten I think a little bit later today, and that could lead to frost tonight. But generally it's a cloudy scene for much of this week until the end of the week when we may bring some clearer, colder weather back for the weekend. Anyway, we'll look at all the charts in a moment. Just want to mention the advertising. There's video ads on my page at GazWebBiz.com. Hit play on the video ad. You'll be supporting GazWebBiz.com. Thanks very much for doing that. Gaz Shop is open, so if you want to do any Christmas shopping at Amazon between now and Christmas, click through the Amazon banners in Gaz Shop. It will take you through to Amazon. You do your shopping as normal at Amazon, but at the same time, GazWebBiz gets a royalty fee on anything that you buy. And thanks very much for doing both of these things, getting involved and supporting the website. It does make a big difference. So as I say, we've got the latest update from the Korean model. The Korean hasn't been updating for the past couple of months, but just in the last week or so, we've been beginning to get some updates coming through, and we've got the update now taking us from December to February. I don't particularly want to concentrate on December because it's not that interesting, although I'll just quickly scroll over so you can see it. That is the anomaly for December, the pressure anomaly, and we're basically seeing a lot of anticyclonic influences there across the country. We've got high pressure out to the east and high pressure out to the west as well. So a lot of anticyclonic influences through December with low pressure up to the north. That's not a particularly cold scenario, though at times with that we would be getting some northwesterly flows, but I think generally it's an Atlantic sort of base pattern that not particularly cold, although if the ridge was to build in for any length of time, of course, because it's winter, long nights, the heat radiates away, you could get some inversion type cold from that, but it isn't a particularly wintry scenario. But for January it's quite interesting what the model is showing there, because we've got a classic battleground sort of scenario going on there. We've got a deep trough of low pressure out in the Atlantic with westerly winds coming in that way. We've got a very strong ridge of high pressure up over Scandinavia and backing into Russia, and the winds are coming that way. So that is a proper classic battleground sort of UK scenario, with the cold air trying to march across Europe around that high pressure to the east, and the low pressure trying to bring the westerlies in from the west. And of course, where the two air masses are meeting, and this does imply that they are meeting somewhere around here, around the British Isles, perhaps down into France as well. Where those air masses are meeting, you do have the potential for snow. So that would certainly be an interesting month synoptically, where if the trough in the Atlantic is just a little bit stronger than the ridge, and of course the cold air stays just away on the continent, so it could be a frustrating month if you want cold and snowy weather. But if the cold is strong, and that does look like a very strong ridge actually up over Scandinavia, trying to bring those easterly winds in. If it is strong enough, that cold air will hit the Atlantic weather system pushing from the west, and then you do have the potential for lots of, well, perhaps not lots of snow events, but you do have the potential for snow there across the British Isles. That is one of the sort of charts that could well deposit a wintry old January. And very quickly having a look at what it's showing for February, not as interesting. We lose the blocking over Scandinavia and western Russia. We replace it with a trough. We've got a ridge of high pressure out in the Atlantic, and low pressure still over Greenland. So with that, the jet stream is going around, something like that. We're more or less on the mild side of the jet, although I suppose with a trough over Scandinavia we could get some northerly cold snaps at times. But it's not an interesting scenario like we're seeing there for January. January could be the month where we get winter this year, perhaps not that much in December and February, but January could be one to keep an eye on. Now what's quite interesting is that the CFS model this morning, the latest 500 millibar height anomaly for January, kind of agrees with that scenario that the Korean model is showing there. So here we go, we've got the trough of low pressure in the Atlantic. By the way, this is the 500 millibar high anomaly from the CFS model at the website weatherweb.net. The web have just started showing these charts, these height anomaly charts. Very useful and interesting charts they are as well. So the link to WeatherWeb is on my links page. Do check it out if you get the opportunity. But we've got the deep trough of low pressure in the Atlantic there. We've got the ridge of high pressure indicated by those yellow and orange colours up over Scandinavia. So it's a very, very similar scenario back to the Korean model. I'll just go back and again show you the Korean model scenario for January. The prediction, pressure prediction, there it is, with the ridge over Scandinavia, the trough of the Atlantic. Go forward to WeatherWeb CFS prediction, and again it's virtually identical. The trough is in the Atlantic, trying to bring westerlies. The ridge is over Scandinavia, trying to bring easterlies. Again, it's a battleground sort of scenario. You'll be getting the cold air marching across Europe around that ridge of high pressure over Scandinavia, trying to push in, and you get the milder, stormy sort of Atlantic air coming in from the west. The two would meet, and where the two meet, you would get a battle going on. And that could well deposit wintry conditions, but the exact placing of that battle, of course, is all critical. Notice there's a lot of low pressure as well, below average heights, running to the south through the mid-Atlantic in towards the Mediterranean. That implies that the jet stream is on something of a southerly track there. So again, that does help the cold air marching across Europe around that Scandinavian high. Anyway, very interesting that the Korean model and the CFS model are both seeing similar sort of possibilities for January. And again, the CFS model is in agreement that December and February, nothing really to write home about, but January could be the one to watch if you want some wintry conditions. Talking of wintry conditions, I think we'll get a frost developing tonight. There's a lot of cloud across much of England and Wales at the moment. I think much of that is going to break up and burn away through the course of the day, so you should see some sunshine. Famous last words, but I think you should see some sunshine this afternoon. That could lead to a cold night tonight with temperatures widely down below freezing, -1, -2, possibly -3 out in rural localities. But I think it is a one night only offer, because tomorrow night, this is 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, showing that temperatures generally are going to be above freezing, and the reason is that going to bring more cloud down from the north. So this is the synoptic pressure chart for 6 o'clock on Wednesday. Still that ridge of high pressure sitting out to the west and the southwest. Lots of cloud drifting around the north and eastern side of that high pressure, or drifting into the high pressure really. And I think we keep that sort of cloudy high going there through Thursday and on into Friday. Although Friday is when things will start changing, because high pressure just pulls back a little bit out in the Atlantic. We bring a weather system down from the northwest. So it could bring some quite heavy rain on Friday, but it'll introduce a much clearer, fresher, sort of sunnier in some ways, but also colder north to northwesterly wind as we move through Friday. There's the rain coming southwards on Friday. Could be some quite heavy rain mixed in with that. I don't think we'll get much rain between now and Friday away from the far north of Scotland, but Friday could be quite wet. And then as we go into the weekend, we'll have high pressure sitting to the west of the country, so we're still in that clearer, sort of brighter but colder northerly wind for Saturday. But then as we go on into Sunday, the high pressure starts to ridge in again, and winds are again backing round to the west, probably dragging in more cloud off the Atlantic. So by Sunday, the high could well be filling up with a lot of cloud once again. And there's no real sign of a breakdown of that high pressure is going to the start of December. This is Monday the 2nd, still with the ridge going through the south, although we've got some low pressure up to the north. The black line here is the jet stream, and it's as flat as a pancake really, coming across the Atlantic, going into Europe, pushing all the way into west of Russia. There's no sign of any northern blocking there at all. Very flat jet stream going from westerlies, very, very zonal setup. As we move beyond that into the 3rd and on into the 5th of December, excuse me, 5th of December is day 10. We've got that ridge of high pressure still just about hanging on to the southeast, but this low pressure is deepening in the Atlantic, and the GFS this morning really wants to wind up a big storm as we move through into the end of the first week of December. I'm not sure whether it's overdoing it a bit, but it's showing it quite frequently actually, this very deep storm developing somewhere around the 6th, 7th, 8th of December. Really tightly packed ice bars there, so stormy winds sweeping in. That could be one to watch, but at least it breaks down the high pressure a little bit, and we get some proper weather coming through. finally have a look at the ECM, and well, there's the ridge there across the country on Friday, midnight Friday, very excuse me, very cloudy ridge. The high pulls out into the Atlantic a little bit, allows this clearer, fresher, colder northerly wind to come down by Saturday, but it doesn't last long, and by the time we get through to Sunday we're probably dragging in more cloud around the top of that high pressure, and then we keep the cloudy high there going into the opening few days of December. By day 10, very similar to the GFS actually, in that the high pressure is still just about clinging on to the south, but it is turning more unsettled. Beyond that, you will probably think it's going to, that high pressure clinging to the south is going to decline and allow this low pressure to come in a little bit, but whether the ECM will wind things up into that really intense storm that the GFS is showing for the 6th, 7th, 8th December, somewhere around there, not sure. But anyway, it looks as though we're going to keep high pressure quite dominant, I'm afraid, over the next few days, and I'm afraid that that's the case because it's going to have a lot of cloud underneath it, quite dreary weather to be honest, although it will clear a little bit but tonight it'll have a frost, but generally lots of cloud coming up in the coming week. And then we may get some quite interesting weather as we go towards the end of the first week of December if that stormy system winds up. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Bit of an eclectic mishmash of stuff today. We'll have a more detailed 10-day outlook tomorrow. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. Oh, it's Christmas forecasts tonight, so come back to the events page. Around 7 PM, we'll do another Christmas update. That's it for now. Thanks for watching.